to welcome, even though she already welcomed us, the CEC in charge of Blue Economy and Fisheries in the wonderful county of Homa Bay. Please let's give a round of applause for Waziri Sarah. Karibu Waziri. We already met Mr. Guda, the national chairman for the BMU network. He's a host, and he will be able to engage us on some of the issues that they're undertaking within the BMU level. And then, one thing that is very, very true is that it's very difficult to see fish. Can you see fish under the water? Can you? And we need a lens for us to see fish. And that lens in the national government of Kenya is being spearheaded by the Kenya Marine Fisheries Research Institute. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mwaluma, the acting CEO for the Kenya Marine Fisheries Institute, and he will be able to take us through what we are doing as a government to ensure that our research, our science is supporting sustainable fisheries. And we did not just call participants that are national. We also decided to call participants who are active in the African region. I am sure many of you have, to some extent, interacted with IOC UNESCO. And today we are honored to be with the lead for the IOC UNESCO Africa Sub-Regional Office in Nairobi, Dr. Ibukun, who is from Nigeria, and he will be able to tell us a few words in Nigeria now that we've been talking too many Luo here. And as Dr. Ibukun takes his seat, allow me to recognize in our presence the chair for the IOC UNESCO Africa Sub-Regional Office. This is an honor, Kenyans, and Helen, please don't sit down, Ambassador Helen Gishui. It is an honor. For the first time, Kenya is the chair for the UNESCO IOC Africa and Small Island Development States in Africa. This lady won fairly and squarely. She is a tough lady. She is a local from the Lake region. Thank you, and karibu, Helen. I would also like to call onto the stage. I think a lot has been said about IFAD support to the development of aquaculture and also the blue economy in general. And Mr. Ronald Ajengo has accepted to be part. I think he has stepped out, and please, could someone help me get him to be on the stage? He will be joining us to speak about some of the support that we are receiving from IFAD to support us in strengthening our policy environment. And last but not least, we have a very able partner within the blue economy sector that is supporting development initiatives right from the grassroots and focusing in the Lake Victoria Basin. Allow me, and please join me in welcoming Wycliffe Ochanga, the Managing Director for the Lake Basin Development Authority. So thank you very much. That's the team that we have this afternoon. Some of you missed the morning session. We had very, very lively discussions. And I don't know whether our seniors were briefed, because each of them who stood here just talked about what we had discussed in the morning. And for me, that was very fulfilling, because I realized that the discussions were very relevant for the sector and for going forward in terms of development in the sector. And as I said, it is not possible for any sector to develop if the policy, if the regulations, if the legal frameworks are not enabling. we need to have an environment that is conducive, not only for investment, but also for sustainability of the resource that we are exploiting. We all know fisheries is a very precious commodity. And unless we have good and working policies, regulations, legal frameworks, then we stand the risk of over-exploiting our fisheries or overusing our resources. And so this panelist here today will help us to be able to understand what are the legal, what are the policy frameworks that are in place, which ones are not there, and what do we need to do to be able to have a sector that is well regulated, a sector that is serving the interest of everyone, from the lowest to the highest. And so we will be able to start our conversation, and as we did in the morning, we will take the same approach. We will allow participants, the audience, to also contribute. And so, as we did in the morning, please have your notebooks ready, have your pens ready, and I will be giving you opportunity to contribute to the discussion. And before I forget myself, my name is Susan Otieno. I am a director in the State Department for the Blue Economy and Fisheries. And I'm not so sure if I'm seeing clearly, but he was my teacher. You were my teacher, sir. Can you give him, I mean, he taught me. He may have forgotten me because he has taught so many people, but he taught me, and this is your product, sir. I have served in this sector for 27 years. So thank you very much. So that's the approach we will be taking. And as I sit down, I want to start with our CEC for Homa Bay County, the land of plenty. And Waziri Sarah, you are holding a very important docket in this county. There are so many livelihoods that are reliant on fisheries and the blue economy sector in general. And these people deserve decent living. They deserve to earn from their import. They deserve to have jobs or to create jobs that are rewarding. A number of issues came up in the morning discussions, and a number of them were priorities and opportunities that we could use to be able to even make blue economy and the fisheries and aquaculture value chain better, and some of them were also challenges. I'm not asking you to dwell on the challenges because this was talked about in the morning, but I would just like you to say and to inform this active audience what it is that the County of Homa Bay is currently doing to be able to address some of those challenges and opportunities that were mentioned in the morning. And are you doing this alone or you're doing this with partners? So that the people here can also go home satisfied that their county is responding to their needs and addressing some of the concerns and issues that are very important to them. Karibu.
Thank you. I was really happy in the morning when you said we can address these people in the language that they understand best. So at some point, you'll allow me to address them in the language that they understand best. I know they understand English, but at a time, I'll speak in our mother tongue. So my name, just as has been said, is Malit Sarah. I'm the CCM in charge of blue economy, fisheries, mining, and digital economy in Homa Bay County. Our mandate as a county in this blue economy department is to ensure a sustainable utilization and production of the water resources. And our interest here are the people of Homa Bay, who are the fisher folk, the fish traders, the fish transporters, and anybody involved in the fish industry in its wholesome value chain. But allow me to also explain to this audience that blue economy, even though we focused really in fisheries, is not only in fisheries. Blue economy delves much into issues of life and resource in water, on water, alongside water, and any activity within the water. That is blue economy. So it is not only fisheries. It might also talk about a bit of mining in the water. And we also know that there are minerals under the water. But there is also fisheries done on land. So mine will be two. I'm going to give you an insight on what, as a county, we are doing in the waters and on the land. So in Homa Bay County, we are surrounded with 5 sub-counties that are riparian. Those are sub-counties that touch the lake. The rest of them, that are 3, do not touch the lake. So with a population of 1.3 million, our 2 major economic activities is agriculture and fishing. We are a fisher folk, as we are called Jonam. Ananyanam. That is the language we understand best. And that is another reason why sometimes when we are talking about solutions of our challenges, I sit back and say, really, will our people adopt these solutions that we are providing? Because traditionally, we are used to wild capture, wild fishing, taking our nets, taking our baits, going into the lake and hunting for fish. And we've all learned from the last discussions that there is a great challenge on that. So because our discussions were around fisheries, let me also delve into fisheries and what we are doing alongside fisheries. Now fisheries is in 2, and that we all know. That is the wild capture and aquaculture. Homa Bay, because we are blessed with the lake, 80% of the Nyanza Lake is in Homa Bay County. We really boast of that. But still, we have the challenge of fish having declined in the lake. And today, you heard somebody raise a concern that our people are fighting over fishing areas and over breeding zones. How do we then address this challenge? As a county, in wild capture, we are organizing our BMUs. We organize our BMUs to co-manage our beaches. And recently we held our BMU elections, which was very successful. And the leaders that were chosen are here in this summit. So we are addressing the right people. This BMU network helps us in organizing the assemblies. We have assemblies at the beaches. The beaches have got assemblies. The assemblies are made up of 1, the boat owners, 2, the fishermen, 3, the fish traders, and any other person that is doing any activity around fish, including those who are making boats, those who are mending the nets, and those who are also drying the fish and frying them. Everybody handling fish forms part of that assembly. So the BMUs help us to bring this assembly together. 1, to help in easy management of the beaches. 2, to create security within those beaches. As a county, we've realized that people come from non-riparian counties and come to hide in Homa Bay. There are people who have come from other counties to just seek refuge in Homa Bay as a fisherman after committing some illegalities. So these assemblies help us to fish them out by establishing rules within the beaches that when you come from a non-riparian county, we have to know where you're coming from. We have to trace, even through your administration, the chiefs and the sub-chiefs. So when we engage you into the beaches, you are somebody we know. You are not posing the risk of our women, the lives of our women into risk. So these beach management units are very vital to us Two, we are organizing them into cooperatives. Somebody said it was a concern that are we really concerned about the development of our fisher folk? Because of lack of resources, we know that government can only assist through groups, and that is why we have societies that help them come into groups. We train them so that they can access resources, access funds. The management of the beaches are today done through cooperatives, and our governor is committed to provide them with seed capital to start running the cooperatives. But this is also a pathway through which other development partners can tag into. We've started working with the banks, including Equity Bank, in training them to access credit to enhance their businesses alongside the beaches. In capture fisheries still, we are licensing. We are licensing our fisher folk. I know there is controversy on licensing. We are asking, is it the national government doing it? Is it the county government doing it? Yes, but I know these roles were disbandled, and the county has got the role to license. As a county, we've not started licensing, and still this role was being done by the national government because it was not yet in our Finance Act. But it's being put in this next year's Finance Act, and we will be licensing our fisher folk, the boats and the fishermen. Because of the diminishing fish in the lake, we are today now training our fisher folk to embrace aquaculture. And today we are encouraging people to adopt cage farming. And we have a lot of players coming into place in Homa Bay, and we all know that Victory Farms is one of our major players. We have Rio Farms, and our farmers are now getting extension services from our fisheries officers, training them to move from wild capture to aquaculture. Of course, this is the way to go, because the lake has been exhausted, and the only way to make it rest is for us to look at another way of sustaining the livelihoods of our fisher folk. Our life depend on fish. So apart from wild capture now, we can get fish from aquaculture. Our main challenge is capital, because these fisher folk, these people are very rich, by the way, and they are the most generous group in our communities, because you will find a woman who is lacking food in their homes, just walk along the lake. And when they visit these people at the boats, they ask them for mena or ngege or fulu, they will be given free of charge. They will give them free of charge. Yeah, so we are trying to persuade them so that their livelihood can continue. And we are talking about wealth creation here, not just fishing for the sake of fishing. We want to transform their livelihood. Yeah? And that is why we are moving them from keeping money under the beds to joining cooperatives to now getting money from the banks. Because we have that wealth. So as a country, we have those systems in place, and aquaculture is our next frontier, both pond culture and cage culture. So extension services are our major practice that we are providing as a department, and also sourcing for funds from other key players. You've also asked me who we are working with. We are working with Gatsby. Gatsby, who has just left here, is helping us in planning the lake. Together with Kemfree, they are doing for us a special plan that has not yet been completed. This is going to help us as a county to know which areas to place the cages and which areas to leave for lake transport or water transport, and which areas to leave for our fisher folk to do wild capture. We are working with Red Cross Kenya, especially in rescue, and they are also doing provision of nets and fishing gears to our farmers. We are working with the Eco Network. Eco Network is off-taking. They are doing off-take of fish from our cage farmers and also from wild capture farmers, fisher folk. We're also working with Gatsby in provision of feeds, and extension services. We're also working with Aquarich. So we have got a lot of players around aquaculture, and we believe that soon our people's lives, the fisher folks' life, will be transformed because it's our livelihood, even though there are these challenges. But this conversation we're having today is really promising for us as the people of Homa Bay. This is the bay of endless potential, and we are now at the verge of unlocking its potential. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cici. She is very articulate, isn't it? Jothurwa uwinjo? Uwinjo gima county timo? Koro kidong chien wachni. I have just said in French that the counties they have had, if you remain behind, it's now your problem. Please visit the counties and get the benefit that the CCM has articulated very clearly. Thank you very much. And she took longer, and I couldn't stop her because she is the host. I don't want her to release the dogs on me, you know? So I will not be very generous with the next panelist because we are standing in between lunch and for our very active audience. We got into this facility, but we didn't knock on the door. Unfortunately, please forgive us. You know how you just get into someone's house and you take over the sitting room? That is what we did. Professor Ochola, please forgive us. I would like to give you a moment just to let the audience know that you are the one in charge of this magnificent, beautiful, wonderful institution of learning, and that you are a very generous professor. You decided not to enjoy the fruits from these deliberations alone, that you have invited your fellow colleagues from other universities to come and listen in and be able to take the message on how Kenya is harnessing blue economy back to their institutions. So allow me, sir, to give you a moment to introduce your colleagues.
Thank you, Ms. Otieno. I'm Charles Ochola. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Tom Mboya University. Having said that, because I don't want to take much time, I have my colleagues who have come to this important event in the history of this country and this county. And on my right, immediate right, we have Professor Alo Obudo. She's the Vice Chancellor of Masai Mara University. After her is Professor Samuel Gudu. Professor Gudu is the Vice Chancellor of Rongo University, who actually was the teacher to Ms. Otieno. And Dorcas is very fond of her teachers.
Yes, he taught me at the Moi University.
Yeah.
Koilel campus.
Professor Gudu taught her at Moi University, Chepkoilel campus. On my immediate right again is John Chemuningwa. George Chemuningwa is the principal of Turkana University College. And on the way, we've just gone out a bit, we'll see him when he comes in, is Professor Paul Wainaina of Kenyatta University. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, Professor. Now we feel at home. Please just don't release the dogs on us. We are good guests and we come in peace. We continue with our discussion, and please, I hope you have noted down what our CC has talked about in regards to some of the support and programs that the county is actually engaged in to be able to even make blue economy more functional. And I want to shift gears a bit and now talk to community. We are in the bottom-up transformation agenda era. And this government gives a lot of focus, a lot of prominence to the community. Within the fisheries sector, we have recognized this, not just by speech, but through a regulation. We have in place a regulation that enables and empowers legally the communities who are engaged in fishing to be co-managers with the bank of the precious fisheries resource. And in our midst today, we have so many representatives from the beach management units who are present here. They have power, they have authority, they have everything that it takes to ensure that the fisheries resources is used in a sustainable manner for now and for future. And today, it is my honor to give Mr. Tom Guda the opportunity to briefly, thank you. Mr. Guda, to briefly just inform the audience, some of whom may not know the powers that they have, on what it is that they have been empowered to do under the regulation, and how are they using these powers in order to regulate and enable sustainable fisheries practices at the beach levels. Karibu, Mr. Guda.
Okay. Thank you so much, moderator, Madam Susan, and co-panelists. As correctly put, I'm Tom Guda, and I seek your indulgence because I'm a number of things. So I will take 1 minute to introduce myself as Tom Guda. I'm chair of a BMU. I'm deputy chair in Homa Bay County. I'm chair of the BMUs in Lake Victoria, Kenya. I'm also chair of 426 BMUs in the Republic of Kenya. I'm also chair of 1,069 BMUs in the East African community. And I sit in critical areas where management decisions are decided. So I'm a member of the scientific committee of the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization. I'm also a member of the management committee. And to cap it all, I sit in the sectoral council of ministers for the community in making key decisions regarding fisheries and aquaculture. Now, today is great because this is our day as fisherfolk. Everybody in this room, everybody in this conference, everybody coming from Madaraka will be talking about fish and fishermen. And I'm here just to let you know that as chair of the network, our cardinal responsibility is to live with the current situation. All in this room understand, and I'm glad that in this room we have people that we work with very closely, that management of fisheries largely has shifted. Today, Susan, moderator, is not more about the biology that was taught at the university. And I'm glad the vice chancellors are here. It is no longer about the ecology of the fishery. It is more about human behavior. And I'm here because anybody doing management today is not really interested in the fish. A lot of work is on how do we deter illegalities, human behavior. How do we transform these people to go into alternative livelihoods, human behavior. How do we now resist attempts by people who are bringing bad manners into the lake, human behavior? And that's now the responsibility that we all have as a team. So as a network, we have done our bit in trying to ensure that we create a conducive environment for all of us to make money and play. And yodala waungeyo ni kaka network. Wane mwechung ne rango gik mokote muyiengore gi lweny, gitabu, gitulo mawuoke nam kaka jonam. So we are very keen in resolving conflicts. And a number of times, my team and myself in general, we have been engaging even partner states from the other side. When there are issues, you know, Migingo is very famous, sometimes Remba is very famous, sometimes Sumba Island is very famous. We are the team. And Madam Moderator, the team helping me to do this before I go in are here and standing. I just wanted to stand the leadership of the county BMU networks in all my 5 counties. All of them are here, Makofi Kwao. That's the cabinet that I work with. Our work majorly, we are working closely with all players in collaborating fisheries management plan development. We sit at the region and national level to ensure that all the management plans, all these regulations we talk about, Kenya Fish, the Fish Levy Trust Fund regulations, the Kenya Fish Marketing Authority regulations, our own regulation, the Fisheries Development Act, mention it. We sit on the table to develop, not at all observers. We sit there to develop those favorable policies. That's why in the Act, 37 was dedicated purely for establishment of the beach management unit. And if you look at that act again, Madam Collaborator, we are also keen to look into the interests of our people because we are seeing a lot of advancement in aquaculture. And we are saying we don't oppose this, but I dedicated section 63 and 64 purely to protect the fisherfolk. Monongado kik bi kanyo, nidwa timo weche mag puro rech, to bolo woko kanyo. So these are some of the areas that we are very keen on. And now if you look around, we have now decided to shift. We are now talking to government directly as networks. At our level now, we speak to the President of the Republic. I'm just about to leave here to go and meet with the rest of the leaders, join in welcoming the President. So we engage directly with the President of the Republic of Kenya ministers to tell them exactly what these fisherfolk are looking for. And now, on sustainability, which you have asked, this is where the greatest challenge lies. Because people are battling, what is this that we would want to do? These are livelihoods versus conservation, a hot topic. People are going to the lake to look for food, some are going to the lake to look for money, and we are telling them this is the way we want us to go. Now, we have done a much as networks, though not sufficient, in ensuring that our people understand the values of conservation and doing responsible fisheries. Now, to make this sink down, Waziri mentioned, I'm the champion of marketing cooperatives for beach management units in the Republic of Kenya. And I'm working that very closely with the Kenya Fish Marketing Authority. And that was done in a meeting that I called where the minister himself attended. And all these chairmen, I invited all of them to that meeting. And we told the minister, this is the direction we want to go. So we wanted to change the mindset from the beach management being a social enterprise into a viable economic entity. So in this level, then they can now start thinking money. They can start thinking investment. They can think about the values of what they want to achieve in this ecosystem. And that's why now, beach management units, we are not transforming. The word is, we are establishing fish marketing cooperatives amongst the beach management units. So to that end, Madam Moderator, it's also good to learn that a question was asked here, which I'll do now, why I complained when government sitting in Kakamega, a cabinet sitting in Kakamega, resolved all of a sudden to abolish key state agencies that are supporting fisheries. Number one of them, which I championed, is Fish Levy Trust Fund. Number two, which I also was very critical in championing, is the Kenya Fish Marketing Authority. Then the Kenya Fishing Industries Corporation. A cabinet meeting in January in Kakamega resolved that they are now going to be redesignated. Mane kizungu mane gitiyogo. Negi kao gigewago, giketo gidwoko back kumanege ai. So we said no. And notera Nairobi, ma wuoyo gi Joe. This team was here. Mwanyise nigi motimore na gima rach mogik e meeting manotimore Kakamega. Kendo wakwede okang mager. So Waziri told me that is understood. We are going to look into specific entities. So as we sit here, we cannot lose these state agencies. And that matter must proceed, the discussion must proceed so that all of them are retained because they are going to support us and support us in a big deal. Otherwise,
thank you so much.
Otherwise, gikanyo, adwana wach ne jolupo, ni gima duong' mwabro timo ka e nyasini. Kendo mwatimo kaka oganda mautelo nuwe weche mag nam. En ng'iyo ni mbaka sani, koro oken story, oken hadithi, oken kia dhi kucho dhi kucha. En ni ere kaka ngimau nyalo lokore, gimoro amora mwatimo nyaka lok ngimau. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. I think you're soon going to have Professor next to your name. And I will talk to the VCs here to give you one. Because, yeah, thank you very much. I think what is coming out very clearly is that the network is playing its role. And what is also coming out very clearly is that it is not top-down management anymore. It is bottom-up. And the bottom-up approach is working. And we have regulated it. Many issues Mr. Guda has mentioned that they are currently engaged in. Conservation is key. And one thing I know is that it is not very easy to tell somebody not to fish when they know they don't have another meal. So that is something that we need to address. How are we going to reduce pressure on the fisheries while ensuring that those who rely on these fisheries still have a livelihood and they're still able to put food on their table? I would like to allow Mr. Gano to make a few remarks in regards to some of the enabling policies and legal frameworks that we currently have within fisheries at the national level. You all understand that the government of Kenya has a devolved system, and so the responsibility of the national government is to make sure that we have these policies in place for cascading down into the counties. And Mr. Gano, as you respond, please also, you remember in the morning, there was the issue of conflicting responsibilities between the counties and the national government. Maybe you'd also address that briefly. After Mr. Gano, I will come back to you, my favorite audience, and I will allow for 2 questions or 2 comments or contributions from the floor. So, Mr. Gano, karibu.
Thank you so much, Moderator, Madam Susan. All protocols observed. My name is Jared Agano. I work for Kenya Fisheries Service. And this is very interesting, this discussion on the legal framework for the development of small-scale fisheries and the blue economy. Kenya does not exist in isolation, and so allow me to start from the international level. We have got a legal framework, we sometimes call it international law, that governs sustainable use of the marine oceans and other aquatic resources. This is the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. This convention recognizes the rights of the small-scale fishers, and it gives them right to access, especially the coastal states, to access the resources, the coastal resources, the fisheries resources, and other related aquatic resources like seaweed. So at that level, we have borrowed. When we come home, we have got the Fisheries Act, which has borrowed a lot from that international law, which we are also using. But before I delve into the Fisheries Act, allow me just to discuss about the Constitution 2010. That is the pre we have. And Article 69, Subarticle 1, put responsibility on the state to ensure that there is sustainable utilization, conservation, and management of the environment. That includes aquatic environment and natural resources, including fisheries, for the current generation and the future generation. The same article requires that the state ensure public participation in the management of these resources and even also in the utilization. And in this case, small-scale fishers are focused, the focus is on small-scale fishers. Just to give a definition before I proceed on that. In Kenya, the legal definition of small-scale fishers is, we call them artisanal fishers or artisanal fishermen. And in the Act, the Fisheries Management and the Development Act, which is aligned to the constitutions. We have a section in the the rights of the subsistent fishers. Those are just fishers who fish for domestic use, not for commercial purposes. And the Act allows them access, of course, responsible access, without payment of any levies. So that, again, promotes small-scale fisheries in Kenya. When we go down to the regulations that we have developed from the Fisheries Management and Development Act, CAP 378, we have got the BMU regulations, which the chairman has mentioned. But I want just to look at areas which are relevant to the small-scale fishers. This regulation provides for the small-scale fishers to organize themselves and also ensure that the issue of gender are addressed. And it provides that in the leadership of the beach management unit, the women, the 30% of the leadership is preserved for women, it's allocated for women. Again, that addressed the issue of gender equality in the development of small-scale fisheries and also in the blue economy. We have got other regulations, like the Fish Safety and Quality Regulations 2024, which again helps in reducing post-harvest losses. It has provided a guideline on how fish should be handled right from the fishing ground up to the market. That is a very important small-scale fishers require adequate funding. So there is a supplementary funding that has been established, and we have a fish levy order that was gazetted by government last year. Currently, we are carrying out sensitization of stakeholders, and in that levy order, there is a portion of levy that will be channeled to develop, to build the capacity of the small-scale fishers and in terms of education and also capacity, purchase of fishing vessels that can allow them. For example, in our marine waters, the oceans, they need to access the richer and deeper waters where they can harvest sustainably. So that levy is there. It will be finalized soon. We are currently undertaking sensitization. It's a very important aspect. So we can see in terms of funding, there is supplementary funding to small-scale fishers that has been established. In terms of management, all the regulations and the laws that I have mentioned. Moderator and delegates, we have got gaps which we need to address. For example, we are sharing Lake Victoria with other neighboring countries, and we need to have a harmonized legislation that will allow our fishers also to go and fish in other countries like Uganda, Tanzania, so that when they go there, they are not harassed. They are not harassed as has been the case. I understand issues of regional integrations are a bit complex, but we need to have a harmonized legislation that will ensure that when our fishers, because these small-scale fishers are the ones who protect the breeding sites that we have in Kenya. And in Kenya, we are blessed. We have a lot of rivers flowing. So fish breed in Kenya. So it's only fair that when the fish has matured and gone into into deeper waters, which are found in the neighboring country, they should be allowed to go and fish there. So that is a gap that we need to do, to address. Secondly, another gap is we have realized now the fishing pressure is increasing, and we know the level of unemployment is also high. We need to reduce it, so we cannot stop our people from venturing into fishing, the small-scale fishers, but we can do it sustainably by coming up with a legislation on fishing quotas that can address the ever-increasing fishing effort. And with that, I would wish to submit there before I respond to the questions that were raised in the morning. I don't know if I can respond now or later. Thank you. Thank you. I submit.
Wow. I think Mr. Ghana has brought out some key issues that we need to appreciate, isn't it? One, fisheries is well governed, isn't it? But not 100% governed. We still have gaps. Number two, the government is thinking ahead. We have a fund, and we are here with the acting CEO for the Fish Levy Trust Fund. Can you just raise up your hand, Dr. Akunga, so that the people can be able to see you? She is the one that is currently leading the Fish Levy Trust Fund. And I believe that many of you she has spoken to. So the government is not just sitting pretty, the government is taking initiatives to ensure that whatever we remove from the waters is plowed back to us, isn't it? So it's a good initiative, and we should be able to really support the initiative by the national government and the county governments. Thank you very much. Jothurwa, ne uwinjo kosomo kolal, kizungu no ne pek. Ober, oyonge maber donge. Koro, I have the floor. I'm opening the floor for 2 comments, 2 contributions before we move into the next panel discussion. Where are my people?
Iko watu wengi sana hapa senior.
Iko wengine wako nyuma?
Tunaanza na mrembo hapa. Tuko na mzee pale. How many do I pick?
No, we are only picking 2.
Only 2.
The other ones can hold their horses a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would like to have contributions, those who are contributing to the discussion.
So you pick one here and another one that side.
Yes.
Wacha tusikie. Senior will come back to you kindly. Wacha tusikie msupa.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mercy Sangura, and as I said before, I work with Kenya Fisheries Service. Mine is a contribution. First, let me also congratulate Madam Sarah Malit for being the only woman and lady on that panel.
Oh, I'm not.
It's really great. On the panel, yes. First of all, I would say I have heard our national director, Capture Fisheries, mention something on harmonizing the legal frameworks that we have so that we can have a harmonized license for the region so that we can all exploit equally this resource that we have, that is Lake Victoria. At the same time, I have heard our CCM talk about domesticating the same resource, like having a Homa Bay County license. So looking at all this, I think it is very important that we have a discussion and think beyond and have a harmonized license so that we can give the fishing community an opportunity to explore beyond Kenya and not limit them to Homa Bay and other counties. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I believe that National BMU Network Chair, you are listening in. Thank you very much. One more.
Kuna mzee hapo na kuna wacha tupe mzee juu ya laana. Sijui itanifikia haja hapo sa. You can pass it kindly.
Asante. The concern I have is only one. We've talked about insecurity, and a lot of it in the lake is coming because the lake is overstretched. You find a situation whereby one person owning like 50 canoes, and all of them looking for the fish in the same region. So I was asking, can there be a way of regulating so that instead of fighting for the areas of fishing, we can have few people, maybe one person maybe holding a few boats, so that other people can also have areas, you use the same areas to do their fishing. So this is the major problem we are facing as fishermen. Two, we also face a problem coming from our neighboring countries, whereby you find somebody goes fishing, but the security of these people is endangered. A lot of their nets are being taken, a lot of their engines are being taken, so we need security from the government so that when our people go to the lake, we are sure they're going to come back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. The issue of security was well handled by the CEC and the BMU network chair. There are already systems in place, and I know that security will never be enough. So I think the call from the audience on the floor is that we need to do more. We need to do more, and it is important that people feel secure as they go around their businesses. The issue of a legal framework for the region is in the offing, and I think this is something we need to work on to enable our people to freely be able to harvest the resource within the region. So those are the few comments we have from the floor now. I'm not ignoring you, Dr. Ari, and I'm not ignoring any other person who had shown interest. I just wanted to give the panelists additional opportunity, then now we go into the Q&A so that we don't over-delay you for lunch. You know, this city runs out of fish if you go late, and I know many of you are here to eat fish. Now, we need to shift gears a bit and talk about what kind of information do we have to enable us really say that, oh, the fishery is overexploited, or the fishery is there, or what is it that we need to do in terms of managing people behavior. Today, we are honored to have the Kenya Marine Fisheries and Research Institute. And just as Mr. Guda said, we continue to also progress our research. Right now, if you go to Kemfree, it's not just ecology of fish, it's not just morphology of fish. We have a whole directorate, and the director was here, that is dealing with socio-economic issues, dealing with people behavior, understanding people behavior, because people behavior drive a lot of sometimes very bad issues and sometimes good issues within fisheries management. And so I would like to now go to Dr. Mwaluma as the acting CEO for Kemfree. And we know that we need science to be able to make policy. We need science to be able to make regulations. We need science to make management decisions. Kemfree is a center for excellence in research. And speaking from where I sit, we have benefited greatly from the research work that Kemfree is undertaking that has informed many, many issues on fisheries management. Now, I would just like you to mention a few of the research findings that Kemfree is currently engaged on or has been engaged in that has supported the government policy making process.
And how are these research decisions are they being readily accepted by management decision makers and the communities who are resource users? And I would also just like to add an element, like how does KEMFRI engage the local communities in their research? Because we understand that indigenous knowledge is very, very important. It's supposed to complement the scientific research work that we do, so that whatever scientific decision we make is well-rounded and very inclusive. Karibu, Daktari.
Thank you, Madam Susan. Thank you, the people of Homa Bay, for the warm reception. It's my first time to be here, and I'm completely delighted, blown away. I've learned a few facts about Homa Bay, that Homa Bay has 80% of the Lake Victoria water. I'm happy also to learn it has a very strong BMU, and that goes to show that you have a very strong potential for blue economy development. Having said that, you know, Susan, people talk about blue economy and just think about which are the opportunities to extract. But I'm happy to hear the conversation. Today, people have so far talked about sustainability, which is the way to go, and completely aligns to the research mandate of KEMFRI. Apart from sustainability, one other issue that we should look at when we are exploiting the blue economy is the issue of climate change. Climate change in the same sense of the sea level rise, or the ocean the lake rise, and issues concerning pollution are very, very key, and these are squarely on the mandate of KEMFRI. Let me just highlight some of the research activities which are aligned to policy that we've done here in Homa Bay and also in Indian Ocean, where the headquarters are involved. And one of the key things that we have to do if we have to manage our fisheries is to do stock assessment. Stock assessment is whereby we have to assess the stocks that we have in the lake or in the Indian Ocean annually, and we assess the different stocks, the species that are available, and how much biomass is available. This then informs how much we should license in terms of the fishing vessels, which are going to be licensed to harvest the boats. And we get a lot of information from the stock assessment, including the breeding seasons, where they breed particularly. And I'm happy to report that KEMFRI Kisumu has been working with the BMU of Homa Bay in doing participatory fish breeding ground demarcation. And this is a process that's going on, and hopefully we should end up with gazettement of these areas, because if we do not gazette, if we do not protect these areas, then we do not have the fish stocks that we expect our children to see. Having said that, we still need to give alternatives to the fishermen. We cannot tell them that these areas are gazetted and demarcated. We have to offer them alternative livelihoods, and I'm very impressed that cage culture is catching on very well. But cage culture alone is also needs to be checked, and KEMFRI is also doing environmental assessments of the water quality, so that we can be able to predict the seasons whereby we normally have fish kills, for example. And that is very, very bad for business who are cage farmers. So our station in Kisumu is also monitoring the water parameters so that we can be able to monitor and predict these unusual events which are related to climate. Apart from that, we are also doing cage suitability, which has been done by my colleagues in Kisumu, and we've actually concretized this into a marine spatial plan I can report that it's complete and it's going to be launched, I think, by His Excellency in the next 2 days, which has been a collaboration by Kemfree, your county, and Gatsby. We've also done fisheries management for different species, management plans. For Lake Victoria, we have the Nile Perch management plan. We have also moved to Omena, where we have gear limits, gear mesh size limits. And also we are conducting a biodiversity assessment. A biodiversity assessment informs you of the species that we are losing. We had that conversation earlier that there's a group that is doing Esculentus or Eochromis with the support also of Kemfree to bring back the original species that were there, endemic to the lake. And this is one of the things that we are doing that will help the lake. A healthy lake would have a very good high biodiversity. I had the CEC mention issues of bathymetry, which is also part of the blue economy. We are mapping the bathymetry of the lake. This is very important because the sea mountains and the sea hills that are below the ocean normally are fish aggregating sites. And they are very, very important features in the blue economy. So we are doing that. And related to these sea mounts, they're also related to minerals, as you said earlier on. So this is information which is very, very important and can improve the economy of the lake region. So how do we improve? We've had a good relationship with the State Department of Fisheries, who are consumers of research, KEFs, who are the managers. We've been developing documents. We normally produce state of the aquaculture reports and state of fisheries for the whole country reports. These are shared by the policy makers, and they are used to make all these laws that are guiding us. And the specific state of fishery, the reports normally have for different fisheries in terms of the different species that we're having. These are very, very important for decision making by county and the national government. Having said that, I've looked at my small research that I've seen Homa Bay has. It's good that we are doing cage farming, but also good to diversify to other blue economy ventures. Like in the coast, what we are doing, we are encouraging the communities who are doing also aquaculture to integrate conservation, aquaculture, and ecotourism. I've seen a lot of places which are very, very beautiful by the lake, and the beach management units here can explore such opportunities and do very good ecotourism facilities for people. I would like to stop there for now, but I think we need more engagement with policymakers. And in my thoughts, I think we should extend for the policymakers to visit the sites where the activities are being done either by BMU, so that I had a challenge, somebody mentioning that there are issues of roads which are a problem. I'm trying to imagine if this is a group that was trying to do ecotourism, and they have their cages, they have their restaurant floating in the water, but if the roads are bad, then they're not able to market, which is green energy. I would like to stop there for now because of time, but we shall engage.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daktari. I'm looking at the audience, and I think we have lost some of the audience, and that's unfortunate because what Dr. Maluma has talked about is actually science at work. Science that is informing investment, science that is protecting investment, science that is reviving our lost species, science that is working for the people. And if you didn't pick it up, it's unfortunate, and I would like to make this call. Please, let's just listen in, because I'll give you an opportunity to ask questions after this, so that we are able to take full advantage of the experts that we have here. Dr. Maluma has talked very, very clearly about science and why it is important, because there are so many decisions that we can't make unless we do research
and unless we are able to work together, not only as researchers, but also with the community. As I said in the introduction, today we are honored to have Dr. Ibukun. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And Dr. Ibukun comes from UNESCO, IOC Africa. When Mr. Agano spoke, he told us that the waters are connected. I think that is one thing that we have to always know, that there is no boundary in Homa Bay County for the lake. The water in Homa Bay County can freely flow to Tanzania, to Uganda, including the fish that is in that water. So if somebody in Homa Bay County is doing something wrong, then that is likely going to impact negatively on even people who are not within that county. The interconnectivity of the resources in the water, like there's a fish in the ocean, we call it tuna, and they say tuna can have breakfast in Seychelles, then it has lunch in Somalia, then it comes and sleeps in Kenya. So whose fish is it? It doesn't belong, it's everywhere. And so the protection, the sustainability of our water resources is the responsibility for all. The United Nations proclaimed a decade of ocean science for sustainability. And UNESCO IOC was given the responsibility to be able to facilitate and to help member states to be able to strengthen the connection, the nexus between science and policy. And today, Dr. Ibukun will be able to highlight for us, and I bring him to speak after Dr. Maluma, because the decade of ocean science talks of the science that we need for the ocean that. So it has been realized globally that science is very, very important for the ocean that we want. And so in Africa, that Dr. Ibukun is leading, there could be gaps. And I want to believe that some of the gaps in Africa are also the same gaps in Kenya. And so I would like to give him the floor just to mention a few pressing capacity gaps that are actually hindering science-based blue economy development in Africa and in Kenya. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Asante, Eshepupo. Thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Ibukun Adewumi, and like the moderator rightly mentioned, I head the UNESCO subcommission for Africa and adjacent island states. And by the mandate given to us by the UN, we are the voice of 151 member states. That is on the global level. And on the continental front here, we are the voice of 37 member states, looking at generating ocean knowledge, ocean science research, and not actually stopping there, but using this knowledge and science to inform policy and decision making, developing products and services that are useful for on-the-ground development. I'm quite happy to be here because, of course, the mandate is on the ocean. But as the regional mechanism for IOC in Africa and the African Union recognizing the connection between freshwater system and the ocean in the blue economy space, it's also interesting to make this connection on the land-sea interaction. And I don't know if many of us would also know that the ocean is connected to everything, not just to the freshwater. There's an interaction between even the desert and the ocean. The fertilization of the Atlantic Ocean today is as a result of the iron dust that is flowing from the Sahara Desert to the ocean. So there's a lot of connection there. Back to the question, I think from a continental perspective, the most pressing challenges or gaps hindering science-based blue economy development are actually in our faces. They are real. They are not abstract. They are very urgent. And I think they are also solvable. These lie in sometimes inadequate data systems, limitation in skilled personnel, and of course, persistent disconnection between science and decision making. So first, we must fix this knowledge deficit. Far too many of our decisions are made in the dark, as I would like to put it, without taking cognizance of data, quality data, high-resolution ocean data, interpretable ocean data, and accessible ocean data. So like the saying goes, we cannot really manage what we don't measure. And that is why IOC Africa Blue Data Hub, an innovation hub for blue economy in the region and in Africa at large. But data alone is not enough. Like many speakers already mentioned, and I would like to reiterate it, that the blue economy, the future of the blue economy is the people. And I'm talking about informed people, equipped people, and also skilled and empowered people. In as much as we need more ocean scientists, we need more oceanographers, we need more marine biologists, fishery scientists, technicians, seafarers, and not just in our capital cities or in our prestigious institutions. We need to actually build the capacity from bottom up so that a fisher in Omar Bay or a student in Kilifi or that woman working on seaweed in Lamu can use this science and use that to transform their lives. They can use this science and turn them into money in their pockets, food on their table, and actually create meaningful and dignifying jobs for their community. And like I mentioned, it's not just about bottom-up, top-down or trickle-down development. It's about bottom-up surge, so that we are starting to accelerate and we are improving the lives of our people through the science that we generate and making that really transform lives and livelihood. Thirdly, and perhaps the most critical for us, we need to close the gap between knowledge and action, really. For far too long, science is locked within scientific journals. In fact, some of the data and science that we have is actually disaggregated. You can find it in someone's laptop, lying dusty in shelves, but these are not really informing the policy. We have to ensure that policy is not made in isolation of the science, and that is why the UN Decade for Ocean Science and Sustainable Development, like you rightly mentioned, which IOC is coordinating on behalf of the UN system, is a game changer. It can help countries to change the tide of this imbalance between science and decision making in the ocean. And IOC is also supporting countries in developing and establishing actually their national decade committees. And for us, we have also flagged a program called the Seaworld African Program, which is the flagship program to implement the Decade of Ocean Science roadmap for Africa. And of course, this will allow us to ensure that science informs policy, it informs investment, and it actually informs action on the ground. And again, please allow me to take a moment to commend the government of the Republic of Kenya for that sustained diplomacy, that leadership in ocean agenda. And I think one of the testament to that is Kenya putting forward its finest. I'm saying in this regard Ambassador Helling as the chair of the IOC Africa Subcommission. And under our stewardship, actually, we've deepened the connection between diplomacy and science, and also ensured that the future of our shared ocean is secured. I know I've been talking too much, but let me close by saying, the blue economy is not just about value extraction. It's not just about the GDP, but it is about restoring the balance. It is about dignity, it is about protecting the ecosystems, livelihood, security, sovereignty, or what have you. So in essence, it is just turning science into informed decisions and allowing those decisions to make a meaningful impact and development on the ground. So for me, I think Kenyans have shown leadership in hammering on all of these blue economy transformation, and this summit actually reinforces that commitment from the government of Kenya. And I think my last word would be that we have to remember that the ocean is changing. It's changing in many ways, and the changes in the ocean is going to have ripple effect on all of us, on the economy, on the health of the ocean, on the health of the world. And we cannot wait for this to continue and persist. And that is why we need to upskill, we need to invest in data, we need to invest in data collection infrastructure, we need to forecast, we need to predict the ocean so that we can continue to benefit from the ecosystem services that the ocean will provide for us. And again, investment in science policy alignment. This is the icing on the cake. And the blue economy is actually very potent and can deliver to us the real change that we desire and we want. And not just for today, but for the future. So with all this said, I want to say, Maji Yetu, Tamani Yetu, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think there are many key issues that Dr. has brought out, and I just want to pick on one, about capacity. And I want to talk to my vice chancellors that it's changing. It's not just class anymore. We need to bring out capacity, not just for the top, but also for the lower level. How are we going to do that as centers of learning? This morning, Professor Manyala talked about what Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University is doing within their Blue Economy Hub that is very inclusive. And I think it's a model that if we adopt, we'll be able to empower not only the students, not only the lecturers, not only the researchers and the scientists, but also the users who are the most important in terms of sustainability of our resource. And we realize that we cannot talk of blue economy if we leave out issues of research, and issues of linking what our research findings are to the policy and the management decisions that we make. I would like to actually close this panel discussion, and to cap it off would be the Lake Basin Development Authority. We are here with the managing director, and a number of us have spoken since morning and even right now in this panel. The core mandate of the Lake Victoria Basin Organization, Development Authority is to actually bring development to the people. And we have spoken this morning, and we are in agreement with the managing director that there is need to bring together all these interventions that are happening so that we can be able to create the synergies that is required for us to create impact. And so the managing director will just take us briefly, and sir, I would give you 1 minute. You know, you are a local, you talk to these people all the time. Just to tell us what are some of the
plans or some of the programs they have that are bringing together all those who have interventions within the blue economy sector in the Lake Basin, in the Lake Victoria region, so that we are able to work together and to create that synergy that is really important and impact. Karibu sana, Dr. Ochiaga.
Thank you, Director Susan, and I want also to thank all the participants for being patient up to this particular moment. So at Lake Basin Development Authority, our key mandate is to deliver integrated development programs along the Lake Victoria catchment area. And this includes the former Nyanza province, former Western Kenya province, and part of Rift Valley, looking at around 18 counties. Now, as we do this, then we are supposed to bring together all the players in the development platform to ensure that as we develop our region, then we do it in a manner that is highly coordinated so that the resources that are available from every stakeholder or every player are applied in a manner that we avoid duplication and ensure that we have the maximum utilization of resources. Now, you will appreciate that in our programs, because we have integrated development programs, we touch on almost every ministry's mandate. And that is why we then coordinate the ministries or coordinate other players to ensure that we deliver the programs. Now you'll see that we are into the ecosystem, we are into the value chains. Today we are talking about aquaculture value chain, but we are also into the rice value chain, livestock value chain, so that as we do aquaculture, do we also appreciate that we have other alternative sources of income. Now, what we have done to date is that we have an integrated technology transfer center in Kisumu. And what we do there is to train our farmers on the modern technologies in aquaculture. Now, we also have a modern hatchery plant, a fingerlings multiplication center, where we are appreciating that we can adopt green energy, and that is the solar-powered technology, so that we hatch and ensure that we avail the fingerlings to the farmers that are of quality, and we also train them on how to pick up from where we have left in terms of the training that we avail to them. Now, you'll realize again that in terms of linkages, which is also very, very important, we are trying to ensure that our farmers around get access to information into who are the partners whom they can partner with, for instance, to deliver the quality fish feeds. Because even as we get into the lake to do the aquaculture or to do the cage farming, we must also be alive to the fact that as we do this, there are chances of pollution into the lake. So how then do we get quality feeds that then will not pollute the lake? Now, another thing is that we have a program where we support farmers who do not do farming in the lake, but do pond fishing, so that we help them to design the ponds and also help them to manage fishing at the pond. And why this is important is that we can then integrate the pond fish farming to the horticulture practices, so that as we do fishing, can we also use the same water
Yes.
Yeah, please take the floor, sir.
How many questions?
Two.
Kindly? Two.
Him.
We can take sorry senior. Alikuwa amenua before mzee wetu.
Mbona youth, I'm really eager to hear from the youth. Youth, you are not speaking. Is there youth who wants to say anything? Be it a lady or a young man? You are well, you are satisfied. Okay, sir, please proceed.
Yes, my name is Opio Esbon from Nyapuadi. But according to science and technology, we have experienced two species of fish in the lake. The one is Okoko and the one is Nile perch. But the disadvantage of them, like Mbota, the structure of this fish is perishable, and the body structure is peppery. So I'm worried about the industry of Kisumu, the byproduct of this fish, like leather. Is it going to produce that leather?
Very good.
Okay.
We pick another one.
Yes, please pick one more.
You can pick, kindly senior, with your permission, we pick two more so that we give him and then we give the other guys. Mama, would you introduce kindly?
Thank you so much. My name is Oremo Edward, County BMU Chair for Homa Bay. And I'm glad that seniors from the State Department are here. In the previous panel, there were very good presentation on cage about three things, that now that the director is here in this panel, then we really need to really understand. The BMU, the Fisheries Management and Development Act give us provision to see who and who goes into the lake with the cage farming. But after giving us that provision, the moment we write our MOUs, then it's like the flight has taken off. So we remain going to be answered, then I cannot have a question now, right now. Let me wait for that answer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, we will allow you just to give one question. Please, already the civil society man, no, you already had your moment. I would like to give Dr. Kunga, and then Dr. Kunga is right there. And then if there is a youth.
Yes, there is a young man behind there.
Yeah,
I think
allow Dr. Kunga and then the young man.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Susan, you're doing a great job. And I think from what I hear from everybody, I wish that you would extend even 10 minutes so that you can get, questions and answers so we satisfy. I'm sure they might not want to go for lunch. But for me, it's just 1 second. This is a great opportunity. I think we have about 1,000 people here just to speak about the Fish Levy Trust Fund. Just a second, because I don't have resources to go all around to tell them about the Fish Levy Trust Fund. We are trying to ensure that there's sustainable financing in the sector. And I think you might have to, the objective or the object of the fund is to provide supplementary funding for activities that are geared towards management, development, awards and agent mitigation. I had in the morning one lady talk about sometimes, boats capsizing. We will be speaking towards that. And we are also going to actually promote fisheries management and conservation. We want to mobilize and manage resources for grant fisheries awards, capacity building and dissemination, and provide financial resources for urgent mitigation due to climate change and natural disasters that are affecting fishers' livelihood. Now, in Namibia, they have a resource management fund, and it's doing very, very well. So we are hoping that this fund will actually be speaking to the fishermen. Madam Susan, I want to appreciate that you've given me this chance, because I know that this is one fund that the fishermen are looking forward to. We have sensitized them on this fund. We were in Mombasa sensitizing the vessel owners, and we want to believe that with the fish levy order that has actually been gazetted, we will begin working and the fishermen will start benefiting. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you. We don't need to wait for the National Treasury to give us funds. We can also generate funds from our own resource.
Unaweza patia huyo jamaa wako nyuma ya mrasta.
Thank you so much. I'm Festus Ojuang. I'm a researcher and public health volunteer. Everything that has been spoken of in this congregation, of the panelists and everything that they're saying, I believe that it is public health related. Everything is just public health, and blue economy and public health are intrinsically linked. Everything we've talked about, livelihoods, the climate change, everything that we have delved around is related to public health. Now, my question is on maybe the BMU chair will be in a good position to answer this. Around sustainability, the issue on sustainability, we've talked about livelihoods, we've talked about how people can live better. But there has been a problem that Homa Bay has been ranked consistently among the top 3 with HIV-related cases. And among the fisher folk, the cases are so high. From my recent and what I've looked at before, it has been very much among the fisher folk. What is being done currently? Because we need to be sustainable among this, about this issue. Because we are talking about our water and our wealth. Also, our health must really come in. So maybe the BMU will be in a position to really tell us the developments that have been made as regards to this, so that around the fisher folk, we reduce or curb the HIV-related cases. Number 2,
one question, sir.
Number 2 is, in this congregation, there are many youths. And the CEC can answer this, and maybe any other panelists. What are the ready job opportunities that they can grab? Because we are talking about blue economy, and we've talked about job issues. What are the ready opportunities that they can go into and really grab and walk away with? Thank you.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know if you are in the first panel discussion. Those who are here, there are so many opportunities that were brought forward, and I want to believe that you've taken keen interest in the same. But having said that, I would like to go back to the panel with the questions, and maybe Dr. Aura and Dr. Maluma, you will help us with the Okoko question. Yeah, as I give the floor to Mr. Gano, first to handle the issue of biosecurity and the cage licensing, and then also maybe you take the opportunity to address the earlier issue on who is responsible for what, between the national government and the county government. I think you can get support from our able CEC.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator. On the issue about licensing of cage farmers and whether the aquatic environment is still sustainable. Is it free from pollution? I want to say that there is a procedure that is in place. Currently, and as the chairman of Homa Bay BMU County Network has mentioned, what is required from an applicant is a business plan. This plan is supposed to indicate what kind of cage culture, how it's going to be done, what kind of material, all that, how much fish is supposed to be stocked. So this is taken to the beach management unit, but it's not just any beach management unit. Our research institution, that is Kempri, came up with a suitability map where cages can be installed in Lake Victoria. So that is what guides the investors. So based on that suitability map, now the investor can go to any part based on his or her preferences. So now they go to the BMU and they look at the environment, and then they submit that proposal to National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, and request for an environmental and social impact assessment to be conducted in the area that has been selected. So when that environmental and social impact assessment report is ready, NEMA share it with other stakeholders, including Kenya Fisheries Service and State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries, for evaluation and also to give recommendation on the report. So once that is done, it is taken back to NEMA. The stakeholders send back their report to NEMA, and this includes, I mentioned the BMU, even county government is included in all this. The report, the NEMA report, is submitted to county government also to give their input, and then NEMA now summarizes and consider whether to give a permit or not. So when that is completed, then the permit, if given, plus the business proposal is submitted to Kenya Fisheries Service for also further evaluation and also issuance of license if it meets the legal threshold that we have, EMCA, and also the Fisheries Management and Development Act. So that is the procedure. Besides that, we have our research institute, that is, agency, Kempri. Kempri conducts, and I think we have Dr. Aura in the house. They conduct regular water quality assessment within the area where these cages are installed. And that informs the policymakers on the status, and if there are issues to be addressed, then that is done at that level. I don't know if time would allow to give Dr. Aura more time to expound on that. But I think, moderator, that's what we have in place. And if you want, if I can move to the next question, I can.
Yes, yes, in like 5 seconds. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In the morning, there was a question that was asked about licensing of fishermen. There are conflicts from what was presented, that there are conflicts. Who is supposed to license fishermen or not? May I start from what the law provides? The Constitution, Article 186, you read it with the fourth schedule, part 1. Part 1 from number 1 up to 35 lists the national functions. So you'll find number 22 talks about protection of the environment, management of natural resources, including fishing. So that is given to national government. if you read part 2, it lists all the functions that are devolved to the national government. Part 2 of fourth schedule of the Constitution. Now, if you can remember 2023, there was a policy directive that we conduct unbundling of functions, the functions that were not fully devolved. It was in 2023, a policy directive, and the Intergovernmental Relation Technical Committee led discussions on this that went on up to December 2024, and a legal notice was issued with the national functions and also, devolved functions, and also indicating the national functions. Before this, the national government was issuing fisherman license, not as a revenue source, but as an fishing effort control tool to regulate how much effort can be allowed on the resource. So during these discussions, we had 2 summits, one in 2023, another one in 2024. There were 4 issues that were contentious. It was a proposal that licensing of fishermen to be given to the county, and registration of fishing vessels to be given to the country, to the county government. But this was not agreed upon, so the status quo remained. That's why if you look at the legal notice, that unbundled function that was issued in December 2024, you won't find anywhere written licensing of fishermen in the unbundled, in the devolved functions. So just as far I've said the status quo remained, national government continued licensing of fishermen the way it was. This year, in fact last week, the Intergovernmental Relation Technical Committee called for another summit to address on these issues, pending issues. The 2, because those are the ones relevant to this gathering. There are others which I don't think are relevant to this. So those issues were again discussed, and we are waiting for an outcome from the Intergovernmental Technical Relation Committee on what they will advise. But I want to say here that in the prevailing circumstances, the status quo remains. May I submit at that?
Thank you. I think the comfort is that the government, the 2 levels of government are in a discussion. And for now, the status quo remains, but in the near future, we will get to know how to proceed. I think so long as there is some action going on, that is important. I know that people would like to still give more comments, but we have really exceeded our time allocation here, and I know people like Tom are going to receive the executive in a few minutes. So before you ask your question, before you ask a question, there's the issue of the youth involvement and the opportunity. As I said, a lot was discussed in the morning, but the MD for the Lake Basin Development Authority wants to add one, and I mean 1 second, sir, as Tom responds for 1 second as well, so that we can bring this to a close. Karibu.
Thank you, Director. Now, to the youth, I think we have a lot of opportunities around aquaculture. Of course, the first one is what we can do in the lake in terms of setting up the cages. Another one is what we can do in the mainland in terms of setting up the ponds. But most importantly is that as youths, how can we organize ourselves in a manner that we can attract funding? So there is an opportunity for us as youths to try and organize ourselves in a manner that you can attract funding from development partners. And then another thing is now to try and diversify away from what at the face of it would be seen as the aquaculture value chain, but now to try and develop interest on other small businesses that might not be at a glance is not something that somebody would think about. You're talking about eateries at the beach units. You're talking about coming up with the cruise boats for just tourism around the lake, plus many, many other things. So there are so many opportunities depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, thank you. And even issues of technology was very clear in the morning, innovations. The space is there for the youth to engage. So just open up your mind, consult, and you will be able to find a place where you can be able to operate and be able to add value. Tom, I give you 1 second. And Tom, I know you.
Yes.
If you exceed 1 second, I'll cut off your mic.
Thank you so much, moderator. And moderator knows me very well. So once you give me 1 second, you do factorial. So number one, to address the issue that was raised by Edward, we want to see aquaculture practiced by hawa watu. So that if we invite panelists to sit here to talk about aqua business, to talk about purorej, jogi, get my face modwagole nam tuatero oko. Number two, on HIV programming. I want to respond to the young man who did ask that question. We have moved miles and miles on this. Number one, the CEO of this county, Her Excellency Nyawangaya, is a programmer. To be precise, HIV programmer. Utiyo GLVCT kapoko bedo governor. And ingeo gikotimo eweche mag triple threat. Amongst you here, through my partnership and engagement with partners like LVCT, Dalaka, Wandeko, Jonam, Miario Giprario Gochiko. We have engaged 229 peer educators amongst the beach management units. And they are here, earning reasonable stipends, Oxiding Alufareo, Pesa Mutual Matin, because of the partnerships we have with them. In Migori, we work with CHEB, and then in Siaya, we work with ADS and Mild May, just to make sure that these guys are doing a good work. Now, lastly, the question that was raised is the beach management unit regulations, neokoginene. There was no public participation. What we require now, because I'm speaking as one of the co-authors, you know, us, we don't attend meetings to participate. The team you saw there of my county BMU chairman, those are authors. So one chick. So when I sit there, I'm an author of BMU regulation 2024. So which other participation do you want when you are talking to the person who wrote it? And the team leader is here, Dr. Simama Wakuone. That is my team leader, and it's the doctor, real one. So asante sana.
Yeah, thank you. I think, Chair, it's not that when, we had said that President Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila, they read the Constitution, isn't it? Na tukasema ni? Yeah, so we live in a country where the Constitution allows us to engage, and it's good that you were engaged as a representative of the people, and so it's not possible to engage each and everyone. We engage people through representations. And so maybe the gentleman who brought up that issue felt like he should have been the one contacted. But I'm glad that you were consulted as a representative of the people of Homa Bay, and your team, you were consulted. So you wind up for us, CC, so that we can now close, please.
Thank you. I'm not going to take much of our time. I only want to respond on two issues. One, on our functions that still needs to be harmonized. I'll leave it that the two levels will sit and will harmonize on who does what. Secondly, I'm answering the question on HIV and AIDS along the lakes and the beaches. It's been a real concern to Homa Bay County, but just as Thomas said, Homa Bay is not the Homa Bay that we used to know. Homa Bay has changed. And the change The change is beginning with these fisher folk seated here. Yeah, because we have stories, we have conversations that our women will no longer be molested again because of fish. The story was sex for fish or fish for sex. That narrative has changed because our BMUs are now being empowered through partnerships. We talk to them, and that mindset and lifestyle is changing. So I want to report that the public health people, don't be worried. Homa Bay is in control. We are taking care of our youths. We are taking care of our women and our people with disability. And especially now on blue economy, we are going to be champions in protecting women and bringing down these records and percentages in HIV and AIDS. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Allow me now to stand because I want to bring this discussion to a close. And I would like to ask you as audience, the objective of this panel discussion was to look into issues of policy that we require to enable blue economy to thrive. Do you think that our country is on the right track from the discussions today? Thank you. Because we need to have a conducive environment to develop the blue economy. And so, please, I would like us, and I would now ask the MC to help us appreciate the panel and also help us appreciate the audience as we bring this to a close, and the MC will also be able to guide us on what are the next steps. Thank you.
Asante.